Now, acquiring two potential starters and a valuable draft pick, the Cavs certainly not only reduced their luxury tax bill, but more importantly for the basketball fan here, Coach, that they've added an opportunity to maybe make some more deals. Maybe Kobe Altman has just set himself up for future moves.
Well, that could come up now, but I know for a fact that after the deal was done last night, there was no more third team that they were now turning to as of end of the night. But that doesn't mean phone calls aren't going to come now from other people saying, hey, we have an interest. Would you have an interest in doing something like this or that? You
got to think here, Dennis, with that draft pick they own from the Nets, plus their own draft pick next year, the allure to keep LeBron in Cleveland, you got to do everything, it appears, whatever it takes, and maybe they're going to go out and be more aggressive.
Well, it makes sense now with the trade being official. Now, Isaiah and I think Crowder's contract are so friendly, so now they have so much space. So now you go back to LeBron and say, why do you want to leave? We've created enough space. We have some young talent, and we have the pieces you need to keep that comfort level there of wanting to compete every year of going deep in the playoffs.
I think the Cavaliers are in pretty good shape, actually. The biggest decision is LeBron going to come back? And nobody's going to know that until the end of the year. But they took on a problem that Boston just got rid of, and that is Isaiah Thomas's contract. That decision, are you willing to pay a 5'9" guard who's 28 years old, going to be 29 years old, for how many years and how much money that's going to go on to your salary cap number? That's what Boston was thinking about the whole time. Now it's the problem of Cleveland.
Don't you think, though, that is all contingent on whether LeBron stays? If it works, if they're a championship contender and LeBron comes back, then you give Isaiah Thomas the money. But before you figure all that out, you got to peel back all the different layers of this to determine who really won this trade. And one of the biggest ones, before we even get to Isaiah Thomas's contract, is his injury, Coach. I mean, to think about this hip injury, if Derrick Rose ends up starting more games, or even starts at the beginning of the season, because Isaiah is not even cleared for basketball activities yet, how will we view this trade from Cleveland's perspective?
Not nearly as well as we have right now. I mean, this has been received by so many people that this is a great deal. All-star point guard, 29-point scorer for a 25-point scorer. Yeah, he's 3 years older, Isaiah Thomas, but if he can't play because of this injury, it's almost going to make it look like, didn't they do their homework? Didn't they go deep into this thing? Or was it a situation that they had to take the chance and gamble on the fact that he was going to be okay because there was no surgery on it? It was just rehab, rehab, rehab.
And I think with that being said, Coach, I'm sure there were some conversations being had behind closed doors, but as you try to figure out how do I keep this team competitive as possible, and like you said earlier, we won't know until the end of the season what LeBron James really wants to do. But if LeBron James does leave, now you still can say to your fan base, we still have some pieces, we have a draft pick coming. Now this team not going to go far down to the bottom. We still can stay competitive.
Dennis, I want to ask you this. LeBron James holds the keys to the franchise.
No question.
Everybody knows that.
Right.
Okay. So what? I mean, don't take it like it's a bad thing. He knows that. He's earned that right, okay, to be in a position of power that he is. But if you care about the franchise, care about the organization, he's smart enough and understands free agents are not coming or not going to sign right now that they could have gone after because they say, what's LeBron going to do? Management can't give him an answer. Trades that they could do, potential guys they're going after are saying to them, well, I'll come if you trade for me, but I'm leaving after because he may be gone after. I'm not going to stick around and sign another contract. So he's put the team in this very vulnerable position. That's why for Kobe Altman, who took over this job after Dave Griffin moved on, what a tough spot to be in. So many major decisions, and you don't know the answers to so many of them. You're kind of doing it just for now, for the moment, because you don't know what's happening after that.
And you predicted the Nets are going to make the playoffs, so that pick may not look as attractive as we originally thought.
I said I think they're going to be better than everybody else gives them credit for, and because of a diluted Eastern Conference, they very well could be in the playoff picture.
And we bring in the Czar to figure out how Brad Stevens and Ty Lue will be utilizing their new point guards.
I think everybody knows both of these very, very talented guards as guys who pound the ball a lot, are great at one-on-one creating shots for themselves or shots for teammates. Well, let's look at a couple of the other ways that they can implement these guys into their offense. LeBron coming down in slow transition. He'll let Kyrie touch it, and then a one-on-one opportunity until he sees the overloaded defense here. 2 defenders between himself and the rim. Well, I'll give the ball back up again, but stay in the low post area. And this is one of the things he can do that Isaiah Thomas doesn't do. It gives Brad Stevens the option of having a post-up point guard who can really score down low. He catches you on his back. He doesn't hesitate at all. Ball enters, he spins quickly, and he's so good at finishing around a number of defenders. Again, when you take Kyrie off the basketball, because he's such a prolific scorer, you start him on the baseline, under the rim. His defender has to make a decision if he's going to go over the top, because here comes that stagger 1-2 screen by his teammates. Is Kyrie going to wind up coming off that and shooting to the corner for a flare, fade jump shot? Or is he going to come off it hard on the curl? And you got the best passer in the league at 6'8.5", 6'9", LeBron James, going to make a decision. If he pops for the jumper, he gives it. If he curls hard, he holds it to the last second. And then you get a guy who can really finish around the rim against defenders. Let's go to the other side with Isaiah Thomas. Take him off the ball, stick him down in the corner. Let's set the first screen to see if we can shake that defender that's up into him, and then come with a DHO, a dribble handoff, to see, again, if you can bump that defender off. Well, defender does a pretty good job, actually, of recovering and staying with Isaiah Thomas. But all Isaiah does is turn it into a one-on-one, crosses over, and again, we keep talking about point guards and an ability to finish at the rim. A little back pick, flare, or perhaps not a flare, but go right to the rim for a lob or an easy layup pass here as his teammate steps up in transition. And Isaiah's job is to read this thing. Is he going all the way? Well, this time he elects not to because of the defender who's helping out. So instead, he comes out to the corner. Big man Horford with the basketball will go into a dribble handoff series, hoping that he can bump that defender off. Isaiah Thomas has to come hard. He tries to turn the corner and play north-south, going to the rim, and that will collapse the defense. And then his decision is, can I score amongst the Giants, the red jerseys, or hit Horford dropping to the baseline for that medium-range jump shot? This guy's really good also at finishing at the rim.
3D, so much of what Boston did offensively last year was out of necessity. Isaiah Thomas was their clear-cut best, and there was a very big question mark as to who was the second go-to option or third go-to option. Now with Kyrie running the show, they've had a lot of complementary pieces that are dynamic scorers. We don't know yet so much about Tatum and Brown, but certainly Kyrie's got to be able to not just focus on scoring, but get Gordon Hayward involved.
No question about it, and I think that's something that Coach Stevens will really figure out as he's preparing for training camp. But I think Coach hit it right on the head on both of those plays. Both players are willing to give the ball up. So now if Gordon Hayward's handling, now Kyrie's comfortable going the baseline, running off screens, catching on the weak side of the floor with the live dribble. Or a shot clock's going down, Gordon Hayward's breaking his man down. Now you're drawing a kick to Kyrie, as we've seen, can knock down a three. And also, too, we see in our NBA, a lot of 2-1-1-2 pick and roll. Now you can put both of those guys in pick and roll and now put pressure on the defense because now both of those guys can attack in that situation.
And when you want to be the man, it's not just about scoring 40 or 50 points, right? It's about...
After a while, you got to win.
Yeah.
It's about winning, and Kyrie knows that. And once again, Coach, you and I talked about it back there in the green room, is that Danny Ainge is a winner as a player and an executive, so that conversation being had that, hey, you want to win again? I'm trying to put pieces around you so you can have your wish of being the man, but also understanding that you got to do it with your teammates.